Hi guys, so welcome back to our Real Talk with Cystic Fibrosis web series. My name is Piper and I'm here with Summer and Emily, and we're continuing our discussion today about life with cystic fibrosis and the realities of CF and what it means to us. So if you guys want to look back, we've done 2 other blogs, video blogs so far. So if you want to catch up on the conversation, that's great. And if you're just joining us, that's cool too. So we're just going to dive right in, and I'm going to ask first question to Summer. Summer, our topic today is going to be, this is cystic fibrosis. This is CF now, and our experiences with that. So what I'd like to ask you is, what would you like people to know about the reality of CF?
The reality of my CF or the reality of CF as today?
Oh, you get to interpret that as you will.
All right.
You can do both.
Well, the reality of CF today is it's such an exciting time. I mean, it doesn't have to be a death sentence. And, you know, these babies that are being diagnosed are going to be old and gray and wrinkly, and they're going to have these long lives because of all these great drugs like Kalydeco and Orkambi. And, you know, and there's still more in the pipeline that are going to be even more amazing. And so it, you know, it is scary. CF is scary. And, you know, the unknown, I guess, is scary. But I think that it's so different than today than it was when we were diagnosed. And, you know, I think it's manageable. It's going to be soon. It's like, it's just going to be something like diabetes, and it's going to be like, just pop a couple pills. And, you know, I'm so excited for the Orkambi that was just proved. And when that was approved, like all I could think of was like all my little friends with CF, they're going to be old. And like, it brings tear to my eyes because, you know, they are going to have these normal lives, as normal as possible, I guess. Who wants a normal life? But yeah, so I think, you know, it's an exciting time right now in the CF community, and it doesn't have to be, you know, a depressing diagnosis. It can be I mean, it's horrible, and, you know, it's scary, but there's so many great advancements that it just, you know, it's a great time. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm stumbling over all my words, but just it's exciting that there are these, you know, these drugs that people are taking, and they're changing the way CF we know as we knew it. So.
And I guess kind of piggybacking on that, Summer, like you're right. It's changed so much since when we were diagnosed, and we've talked about that in some of the earlier parts of this series. But I just, for my own curiosity, if you, knowing what you know now about your life and cystic fibrosis and sort of the future, if you could kind of go back and tell yourself, your young self with CF, or your parents, like one piece of advice, knowing how much has changed, what would it be? You want to think about that while Emily answers?
So we'll say the question again.
So if you could, I guess, sort of interpret as you will, but if you could go back and give yourself or your parents one sort of piece of advice or comforting piece of like statement, knowing what you know now about cystic fibrosis, what would it be? Like, what would you say to your younger self?
Well, I would probably say I don't think I would change anything. I mean, I never let CF define me, and I just kind of, you know, I lived my life, and I worked hard at it, and I worked hard at living, I guess. And I don't know if I would necessarily tell myself anything different, because, you know, we don't know what tomorrow will bring. And so I just will tell myself, you know, to keep fighting. And that's, you know, I continue to like keep my hopes high and my dreams big. And, you know, that's that's the best advice I can think of, but it's kind of something that, was instilled in me too. So I don't know. I think that would be my answer to that.
Emily, let's kind of go back to that first question for
Yeah.
your answer. But what do you want people to know about the reality of CF right now?
The reality is that we are evolving rather quickly. Just you like that word? Just in the past years, we have seen Kalydeco get approved, and personally, I've been able to take Kalydeco and just seen my health do a 180, which is something I never dreamed. When I realized I had CF in the playground, I thought I would be coughing every day for the rest of my life, and I do cough, but it's gotten so much better since Kalydeco. And that's that's like the Model T of drugs to treat the underlying cause of CF, right? Think about how far we're going to go just in the next short amount of time. So, but I still have treatments. I still have my vest. I was in the hospital this weekend, and I'm doing 3 weeks of IVs. So just because you're on Kalydeco or Orkambi doesn't mean that you're cured. We still have to work. We still have to do everything that our doctors and parents say. And it's not an easy pass. Like I'm sure, some people might say, oh, you have a transplant or you have Kalydeco, now you can coast. And it's like, no, now I have to work harder to use this drug to its potential, because there might be a next drug that's even better. And I want to be as healthy as I can be. So I need to run further and faster and bike for just like set myself up to be the best. And when Summer was answering the second question about what she would tell herself, I would tell myself to stay active, because there was like a 10-year period in my life where I was inactive, and I kind of used CF because it made me breathe hard. I couldn't really work out, and I just wasn't interested in working out. But if I would have just stayed active and worked out and powered through the hard times, I would have probably been healthier and benefited even more when Kalydeco came out. So obviously I like physical fitness, so I endorse that. But I think it really sets you up. And I always tell people, be ready for these drugs and be the healthiest you can be, because the future of CF has never been better. Like in the past 5 years, we have seen a new CF, and it's only going to get better, and it's only going to happen faster. So I'm pretty pumped about the future.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo everything that you guys have both just said. I would also sort of, like to sort of roll my two questions up into one about what I would say about the reality, and also what I would like, what advice I might give to my younger self. And the truth is, my sense right now, and the advice I would give myself is that you are not a number. You're not defined by things like life expectancy or just statistics. Like, you're not a statistic. You're an individual. And yeah, you have cystic fibrosis, or I have cystic fibrosis. We all have cystic fibrosis, or our children have cystic fibrosis. But that's not, what defines their life. And I think if I could send one message right now about where we've come with CF and what the reality is that there is no one single reality. I mean, we've come to a place where we can have 3 different people talking, and one of us has had 2 double lung transplants, and one of us is on Kalydeco, and another one of us is here on oxygen, but still all participating. We're all living really rich and fulfilling lives. And I think the truth is that we've come a long way with cystic fibrosis, but cystic fibrosis is not one story. Cystic fibrosis is 30,000 different stories, and they're being written every day, and you are your own author. You have your own control. And that, I think, is more than anything, it's like such a change. I think when we were diagnosed, people thought there was going to be this one story. There was like, oh, people with CF fill in the blank. They live this long. They experience life this way. They can or cannot do this thing. And it's not true. And we're such living proof of that. I'm really proud of that fact. And I think it's really cool.
I think
love
we're all so
we
different.
represent it.
Yeah. We're all like, there isn't, I've said this before, but we're all one of a kind. Like, there is no 2 patients that are the same with CF. Like it's
Hmm.
such an interesting disease. So yeah, I think it affects us all so differently.
I mean, think about how far we've come. Just we were all diagnosed in the early 80s, right? They had
79.
not discovered the CF gene. Like 89 is when right, I'm sorry, 79 for summer, but that's because you're old. So what are we
It's
supposed to
true.
do? But no, it's like we didn't discover the CF gene until 1989. That's when it was identified, the mutation to the CFTR gene that causes cystic fibrosis. And now we have over 1,800 of them identified. I mean, my husband just underwent genetic testing, and it like blew my mind. They were like, do you want the full panel? Do you want deletions? Do you want like abnormality? I was like, what's the difference? But when we were diagnosed, it was like, okay, you have CF, put you in this category. And now we have learned so much about the disease, but also about how to live with it. And you know you're just you're not a number. You're not somewhere, some point along some graph of what
Yeah.
is cystic fibrosis. It's like you are Summer, you are Emily, I am Piper, and we're just all really different.
Yeah, and that's
I
when I
agree.
speak and I talk to parents, I say, like, look, when I was diagnosed and growing up, we treated CF as a whole. We treated the lungs and the pancreas and the weight, right? And now it's like we're doing these testing to see what mutations you have. And within, I don't know how many years, but years, we'll be able to say your baby's born, he or she has this mutation, and we're going to start on this medication that treats that mutation and could alleviate symptoms before they happen. I mean, that is crazy to think about. And
Huge.
parents these days need to realize how far we've come in such a short time where we're not treating the symptoms. We are, but we're not just focusing on that. We're treating the cause, which will alleviate the symptoms. So keep
And
on.
there's even treatments like, they're all different for all of us. So, I mean, the vest could work really well for you and it doesn't work so well for me or vice versa. I think it's just, we are all different. And I think that's important to know.
Yeah, it's personalized medicine in every sense of the word. It's
Agreed.
not just
Yeah.
personalized medicine in the sense of like, let's develop these new drugs that target specific mutations, but it's personalized medicine and like, how do you fit CF into your life? What airway clearance works for you, and what exercise routine works for you, what diet works for you, and all of those together combine to make this sort of recipe for optimal health. And I do think it's really important and really cool that we're no
Yeah.
longer just thinking that it's like, oh, here's the prescription for, this and this equals this outcome. And now we know so much more. So piggybacking on that, and I'm just gonna like wrap us up because our segment is gonna end here soon, and hopefully we'll have more of these real talk sessions, and hopefully some of you guys out there will get involved. But the last thing I'm gonna ask you to brag just a little bit, or a lot if you want, because I think you guys deserve to do it. How do you continue to defy expectations with cystic fibrosis? And as part of that, tell me what you're really proud of. Emily?
Okay. I'm very proud of, I don't know.
Oh, come on.
I know it's crazy. There's just so much that I didn't think I could do. And like traveling the world and speaking all across the country and talking and connecting with parents and other patients. But the biggest thing is Rock CF, which I founded in '07. And people always ask me, like, why did you start it? And my thing is to empower patients and make them feel like they're part of something that is improving lives, including people in our fundraising and in our awareness, and our merchandise is shipped to like 20 countries around the world. Every week we ship to a different country. And it's just crazy that they want to wear our stuff. But it's conversation starters. The money we get, we give to the foundation for research, and then we donate running shoes to patients so they can start exercising. It's just things I never thought I could do. And then, of course, running and cycling is awesome. And I don't know. I just love life. I love to eat. And I'm glad I can cook now.
Summer, how about you? Why don't you brag for a minute?
Well, I feel like I already did this, but yeah, I am proud of being involved. I think just being involved with CF awareness and with different patients and I have FaceTime treatment time with a couple of little girls that I, FaceTime with a lot and on a regular basis. And it's so CF is so isolating, and it doesn't have to be with, modern day technology. And I will do the treatments with them and, teach them how to do the sinus rinses. Or I think for them, I think it's good for them to see someone else doing a treatment so they don't feel like they're all alone, because if they don't have a sibling with CF, then it's just them and they don't know anyone else with CF. So I love that. I'm very proud of that. And then I have a group locally, like my CF moms group, and I love all of them. And we have so much fun. We get together the first Monday of every month, and I think it's good for them to be with people who get it and they can like converse together and talk about what's working for them and what's not working for them, or little tips that that they aren't going to get when they go to their clinic office for their children. And so I think it's, things like that I love doing. I love helping people. I love like my Love to Breathe tokens. I'm so proud of those, and I'm just Love to Breathe in general. Like I started that in 2001, and I never thought I would see where it is today, or like the things that I've done. Like, I've trademarked it and I've gotten, copyrights and like all those things. Like I never thought that would all happen, and it's just great. I'm proud of it. So.
Well, those are great answers, and I think it kind of piggybacks into exactly what I wanted to say, which is what I'm most proud of, and how I think that so many of us have defied expectations, myself included, is just watching, us as adults with cystic fibrosis, really have a seat at the table and really start using our voices and being part of the discussion about our futures and about CF. Because, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation was founded in 1955, and it was founded by parents. And they were parents who had been told really dire predictions about their children's futures, and they were really scared. And so they started this foundation as a way to sort of combat all of that negativity and to hopefully bring hope for people with CF. But I don't think they ever imagined, I don't think they ever expected that one day people with cystic fibrosis would be contributing so much to that discussion. So for me personally, I'm really proud of my blog, A Matter of Life and Breath, and I'm proud of the way that I've been able to interact with the CF community. And I'm just sort of proud of all of us, I guess, in a sense. I'm really proud to be here today. And I think this discussion, being here with you guys, is so representative of the way that we all continue to defy expectations, simply by being here, by raising our voices, by continuing to speak out, and by continuing to advocate for ourselves and our community and to carve out new ways of living with CF. So I guess that's a perfect sort of segue into wrapping this up, because this is a Real Talk with CF series, and we're really excited to see how it continues. We're hoping to have some of you guys participate, and more people and more voices added to the discussion. So pull up a chair. There's a seat at the table. We want to hear from you guys. And that's all we have time for today, but keep posted for more and more great discussion. Thank you, Summer. Thank you, Emily. And thank you all of you guys who have listened. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.